Today, we're diving into a question that more and more parents, educators, and school leaders around the world are starting to ask. What actually gives a student an edge today? Because it's no longer just about grades. It's not just about staying in the same system and following the same path. Families are looking for something a lot more, something that builds confidence, independence, global awareness, and prepares students for a world that's far bigger than their classrooms. At the same time, there are real questions. Is it worth stepping outside the traditional system? Will my child fall behind? What's the actual impact of a short-term experience? And how does this actually translate when they come back home? Today, we're going to explore all of that. And I'm joined by Nicola Gilbert, and we're going to unpack what short-term immersion in a British boarding school environment really looks like, and more importantly, what it does for a student, not just during the experience, but who they become because of it. So welcome back to International Education Spotlight Podcast with Global Travel Education, where we explore outstanding global learning opportunities for students and families and bring you powerful opportunities shaping the next generation of global leaders. So thank you, Nicola Gilbert, our guest from Dallam School in the UK, located in Minthorpe. Thank you, Nicola. It's great to have you here.
Great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
For parents or school leaders who may not be familiar with immersion programs, what does a short stay at a British boarding school actually look like day to day for a student?
So we are really fortunate here at Dallam School that we do have the additional capacity within our main school to be able to run these immersive programs for international students from all over the world. What does that look like day to day? It is just what it says on the tin. We want to fully immerse our international students into everyday life at Dallam School, starting from the moment they open their eyes in the boarding house all the way until they close them again in the evening and put their head on the pillow and go to sleep. We are two separate campuses. So one campus is where the children learn and are educated, and the second campus is where the children spend all of their free time. They do activities, they learn even more English if that's what they need. It really is a fantastic opportunity to experience everyday life in a British boarding school. Fully immersed is I think is the key word there. They are dropped into lessons alongside all of our British students. They share bedrooms with our British boarders, being a state boarding school. Our full-time boarding cohort are all British. They must have a British passport to attend a state boarding school. So it couldn't be more immersive if we tried.
Oh, that's great. So it's very much fully integrated into school life. And what do you think surprises students most in the first few days?
I think initially any change in culture is a surprise, isn't it? And I think when you travel so far away from home, away from parents, away from loved ones, that's a surprise in itself, whichever school you go to. But I think initially just the calm environment that we have here, our students are very used to welcoming with open arms international students into our community, and just the environment that is created here with all of the different cultures under one roof is really quite special.
That's incredible. At a deeper level, why do programs like this actually exist? What's the gap they're designed to fill in a student's development?
So in a student's development, I think for lots of different students, for lots of different reasons, it enhances their personal development, their academic development, their social development. I think there's lots of different reasons, but I think the overarching one is that level of independence, the level of tenacity and resilience that is built in a young person when they spend time away from home, experiencing a new culture, a new routine, a new day-to-day life, whether it be for a week or whether it be for 6 months, whatever that looks like. It is a really brave thing to do for a child, and I think developmental wise, I think that it's just a wonderful thing for them to experience.
I realized that in Europe and in the UK, especially, immersion programs are very common, and you get students from all around the world. As opposed to the US, immersion programs aren't always well understood. So if a parent or a principal is thinking, why would I send a student abroad during the school year, how would you respond to that? Is it a disruption or actually an enhancement?
I would say it is definitely an enhancement. I think any type of learning is learning. And I think that we do try to understand where each child is currently at within their curriculum, wherever they're from in the world, and we try to match that the best that we can. We always try to, before any student arrives with us, we always try to gain enough insight into what subjects they really enjoy, into what they're currently learning in their school, so that we can try and make those align. Obviously, it is a little bit disruptive, but I think the positives far outweigh the negative points there, and actually things we've just spoken about, the resilience and the kind of enhancement to cultural opportunities there far outweigh the disruption.
And how does this apply, answering the same question about for students that are coming from Africa or from Asia that might actually want to understand the value of taking their kids out and letting them spend one semester or a couple of weeks in your school? How would you address that? Is it still an enhancement? Will the student be missing out anything? How does that work?
So every student that spends a period of time with us, whether it be 1 week or up to 6 months, will always leave with a progress card. So on that progress card, it will state exactly what subjects have been covered, what content has been covered in those subjects, so that when they go back to their school, they can talk to their teachers about what they've been up to, what they've covered, what subjects they've done. They can talk about their teacher and if they've had any assessments. So I think it's not as though they're being taken out of school and are on holiday. They are still attending school every single day, a full curriculum with a full carousel of subjects. So obviously it is different. It's a different school with different ways of learning, different outcomes,
Yes.
but essentially we've never experienced any problems with it. I think as I said before, the benefits of these programs far outweigh any disruption to learning. I think it makes children much richer with their knowledge for them to return home to their current school and be able to talk very proudly about their experience here at Dallam.
Thank you for answering that. Now, one of the biggest concerns parents have is, will my child fall behind academically? How does the program ensure students are staying on track or even come back stronger? Do credits transfer or learning transfer? You kind of answered that already, but how do you ensure that the students are on track, or that they also are they returning more engaged or motivated academically? How does all that pan out?
So like I just touched on before, this isn't a holiday program. It's not a summer course. They are accessing a full curriculum that is run by the same policies as all of our own students follow here at Dallam, same behaviour policies, same learning expectations, same uniform policies. So the expectations are quite high, and behaviours are recorded appropriately. So for example, if there was a student identified that was on an immersion program that perhaps just needed a little bit more help, that hadn't quite settled in as well as we'd hoped, then they will have that intervention put in place so that is fixed very, very quickly. In terms of the students not falling behind and going home richer in knowledge, that is our main objective, and we will benchmark that. So when they arrive with us, they will be assessed, and then when they leave us, they will be assessed, and the hope is there that we find that the students do improve during their time here with us. That all depends on the length of time they're here with us. If they're only here for a week, that's really difficult to assess and to monitor. But those students that are here for a longer period of time, so anywhere up to 6 months, then that's much easier for us to track their progress and like I say, produce report cards that they can be really proud of to take back to their head teachers in their own schools and feel very proud of themselves.
How does this experience complement what students are already doing in their home schools rather than replacing it? What do they gain here that strengthens their performance back home? And how do schools typically view this kind of experience afterwards?
So I think the really obvious answer there is although their friends in their current school will never be replaced, they will be going home with lots of new ones. And I think that in any residential environment where you're spending time away from home, you rely on those new friendships so dearly to get you through each day. I think in terms of academically, different subjects that are being taught, they won't always be the same. We offer subjects like food technology, where they'll learn to cook traditional British dishes. They will have art lessons, they will do geography, history, a whole suite of subjects that hopefully they'll be learning something new whilst they're here, and they'll be able to take that back and share all of that knowledge with their friends in their current school.
What does a student gain from this experience that truly sets them apart from their peers who stay within a traditional path? Is it a confidence? There is independence. We already know that global awareness, or is it something really deeper? What do you see that is different or that shows up later?
I think resilience is a huge word. I think any student that spends a period of time away from home in a new country, in a new environment, learning new things, shows really brave characteristics. And I was fortunate enough to have an experience like this when I was younger, and I can talk very, very openly and confidently about how resilient that made me as an adult. Now I travel for work. I'm never afraid to step on an aeroplane. I'm never afraid to navigate my way around an airport. I am so confident with that, and I hope that I can give my children that opportunity as well. So confidence, resilience, the power to know that they are capable of spending that time away from home and achieving things that they probably don't even believe they can achieve at that point. But I think it is a huge confidence thing, and it really does set children apart from those that don't choose to travel for their education.
I love that answer, and I can clearly relate as someone that traveled in my younger years and still traveling. It makes a huge difference. It gives you the courage to be able to say, you know what, I can do this. And it applies not only in your work life, but it applies also in your personal life. 100%. And those are things that you actually learn by traveling, by learning independence from a really young age. So thank you for saying that. My next question is, can you share a story of a student who came in one way and left completely different? What changed for them and why?
Oh, I could share hundreds of stories like that. And no child is the same when they leave. The children that arrive here at Dallam School, especially into our boarding house, quite often are students who have chosen to be here but haven't quite fully grasped what's in store for them. And I think that over a period of time, when lots of teenagers live together under one roof, you're tried and you're tested in ways that I think you probably don't expect. But let me tell you, the hurdles that we jump and the fun that we have and the happiness that seeps out of the walls from this building, it's just incredible. And I always encourage people to come and give it a go. I know that anybody that walks through the door will absolutely love it, make new friends, be very happy, try new things, learn lots, and leave much richer, and I don't mean financially, than when they walk through the door.
Well, that currency definitely is more than money a lot of times.
Exactly.
Because it compounds in its own way, right? Looking beyond the few weeks there with you, how does this kind of experience impact a student's future opportunities, mindset, or trajectory? Does it also influence university choices or career direction? What will you say to that?
I think there's a couple of answers to that question, actually. I think first and foremost, it's always a talking point. Always. I've just spoken about my experience now, and I'm much older, and it was a long time ago, but it always is a talking point. So any student that has spent a time away from home in the UK can always talk about that and talk about how wonderful that experience is. That will probably be passed on to generation after generation. When they go back, they will then want that for their own children, and so on and so on. So I think in terms of a real impact to their future, it'll be something that they always remember, something that they can always talk about at a dinner party, always recommend to a friend. So that's the first answer. The second answer is when these students do come to apply to university, people who are making those decisions are going to look at that student and say, do you know, that student was really brave. Look at that. They've travelled. They've already been to school in England. They're only 17 years old, and they've done a period of time way. This is what they learn. Their English, as a consequence, if it's not their first language, may have improved. And yeah, I think it's just all round a very enriching experience for any student to have the opportunity. If they do have the opportunity to do it, they should absolutely take it.
It's great. Absolutely. I agree with you on that. For students coming from places like the US, Africa, or Asia, how does being immersed in a British boarding school environment expand their worldview or a sense of possibility?
So we might be a humble state boarding school in Cumbria in England, but actually we have over 31 different nationalities here at this school. We have children from all over the world. And when I say that students who come and board here with us will always have a contact in a pocket or a corner of the world, then I really mean that. We have students this year who came for a one-term experience from during our autumn term, and I know they've all been in touch with me to say that they're all planning a big summer vacation this summer in France. So in terms of expanding their worldview, they will make friends from all over the world. I really love nothing more than on a Saturday evening when I walk into our common room, our kitchen area, and somebody is cooking a cultural meal from their home where they're from. Last weekend, one of our Nigerian students was cooking up a storm in the kitchen. It looked absolutely incredible. Such an African feast on the table, and everyone was getting stuck in. It was really, really beautiful. So it is rich in culture, and you know, to say we are a state boarding school, a very humble one. We have 31 nationalities. What more could we ask for?
That's incredible. Tell me a little bit about the city, what they're going to be seeing. I know it's beautiful, but I think it's better if you can describe that. What are they going to do? What is the experience they'll get when they're out there?
So we are based in the Lake District, which is quite a popular and well-known area in England. We're surrounded by the most beautiful lakes and mountains. We are very close to a couple of cities with that in mind, so it might feel quite rural, but actually yesterday, just last night, I took all of our sixth form students to Manchester. We went and did a fun activity, and then we did a bit of shopping, and we had dinner together. So it is still all accessible, so they do get a real taste of everything whilst they're here. The city life, the country life. We go out walking and hiking up the mountains. We go on the lakes on our paddle boards in canoes. We go and watch big Premier League football games. We do lots and lots with our students, so it's very fun and very engaging, and we try and do as much as we can with them whilst they're here, so they get the very most out of their experience.
That's lovely. Very lovely. If you were to compare two similar students, one who has this kind of international immersion experience and one who doesn't, how does that decision shape who they become over time?
I do this for a living, and I can sense students who are well travelled very easily to those who are not. I think it is that air of confidence around a young person that, you know, when they say, yeah, I've got this, it's fine, and you think, okay, have you, or are we hoping for the best here? Around those ones who say, Miss, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to take the train to the airport and then check in for a flight by myself. It's having those conversations around, well, this is what we do and we manage it this way, and hope that after they've done it once or twice, then we are building that confidence, and we are giving them the belief that they can manage these things. That's just one example, but it is when you're comparing two students, one who has had an experience like this and one who hasn't, it's quite obvious.
My next question is actually around safety.
Okay.
A lot of parents are concerned about letting their kids go, leave their sites for a certain period of time. They want to know that their children will be safe. They want to know that they will be taken care of. They're concerned about maybe the kids getting homesick. How do you handle that?
So we are an incredibly safe campus. We are not in a big city or a big town where temptation is all around. We are our own site, our own campus that is managed by our own security. So that's kind of the first thing to be aware of. The second thing to be aware of is that all of our staff here in the boarding house live on site. So we're all resident, we're all here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're all accessible. Students do come and seek us out at various points during the day and the night, whenever they need us, and come and find that help. We have lots of policies and lots of zero tolerances, like many schools will have. Zero tolerance to bullying, racism, unkindness, things like that. Generally, we are a very, very, very caring and happy boarding house, and we're really proud of that. And when incidents do occur, they're dealt with very efficiently, very professionally, and obviously so that the child always feels heard and safe and looked after and protected. So yeah, I think I'm very proud of what we've got here, and all of the staff who are here to care for your children.
If I'm a parent listening right now, trying to decide whether this is really worth it, what would you say is the real value of this experience, and why should I seriously consider it for my child? What is the cost of not giving them this kind of exposure, or what kind of child benefits the most?
I'd say you've got absolutely nothing to lose. We've been doing this for a long time, and every student that comes here just wishes they could stay longer. We have lots of unhappy children when they leave because they just wish that they could stay for longer, and for me that speaks volumes. We do have, we communicate very closely with our parents. All of our parents are able to WhatsApp us at any time of the day or the night, and they will get a personal response back from one of our house parents. So if a parent should be worried about their child whilst they're here, they know they can access us instantly. We often share pictures, we share regular updates of the children whilst they're here. So I would urge any parent to not worry. Trust us. We have this. We care a lot about every child that is in our care. We want every child to be very happy, feel very safe, feel loved, and have that level of support wrapped around them that we know that they would get if they were at home. We want them to feel exactly the same whilst they're here with us.
Nicola, this has been such a powerful and insightful conversation. And I think what really stands out is this: experiences like this aren't just about traveling to another country. And they're not just about academics, but really more so about transformation, who the young people become. They're about placing a student in an environment that challenges them, stretches them, and allows them to see themselves and the world differently. And often it's not the length of time that matters the most, but it's the depth of the experience, which is what you give students in these immersion programs. Because what they gain in the end is confidence, is independence, and perspective. They don't feel like they're left behind, and they bring it back with them to their schools, into their decisions, into their future. So if you're a parent or an educator or a school leader listening, and and something in this conversation resonated with you, it may be worth taking a closer look at what opportunities this could be for your children or for your students, for now and for the long term. Nicola, thank you again so much for sharing your insights and your experience today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
You're welcome. And to everyone listening, thank you for being here. If this conversation sparks something with you, feel free to share it with someone who's thinking about new opportunities for their children or students, and see more of the information that will be accompanied by this video. Thank you and have a wonderful day.